Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's July 17th, 2025. It's morning. It's 8:30 and it's already starting to get hot. We've had lots of muggy, hot days lately, and I thought, well, it's a little breezy today. Hopefully the audio won't be too bad. I thought we'd just do a quick garden update to see how things are going. So over here is the west garden plot. Now there's unfortunately, this year isn't going to be a typical year for us here. You know, a lot of things we've just had to refrain from actually getting too excited about and trying to do all we can in our gardens like we usually do. One of the main reasons is that without the workshop being here, the wall isn't here, and therefore I don't have the gates to protect this. So the wildlife are in here every afternoon and evening and morning. So that's just the way things are. And when the building collapsed, it did take out these two rows. It took off some other pieces as they flew over there as well, but these two rows of blueberry plants got heavily damaged. So productivity is pretty darn low, but one of the things I would say is we have had some new growth coming up. So if we don't do any damage when we do the rebuild, that would be great. So we'll see how everything works. It's not easy, but you know, and of course the deer come in and nip everything right off. But there's regrowth and there's an opportunity. So the productivity over here is really down compared to what usually is. And then we have all the weeds coming in as well. So c'est la vie. I guess it's just the way that things will be and all. But the blueberries have been producing. We aren't getting as much as we'd like to get, but the birds and the wildlife are getting them as well. My granddaughter Lori, she came over and harvested some of the honeyberries as well. This past week, Thea came out and got some more blueberries. Really, with the way that our place is set up, you know, from late spring until late fall, or the onset of winter, even after the first couple freezes, every day is a harvest day. And it's, you know, between 4 hours, 4 or 5, maybe 6 hours a day harvesting is what the productivity typically is. Now, right now, it isn't that way. As you'd see, the deer love the thornless blackberry plants. So our ones that we've got potted up in the nursery, they're massive compared to these, and they're all the same age, or these ones are older ones. But what ends up happening is the deer just browse them every single day and all, and it's just how things work out. And I've let the weeds get out of control in here as well, unfortunately. I've weeded a few times, but I haven't stayed on top of it. Just because there's so much stuff to do and all. But it is depressing seeing how much they just chop these buggers down. And I did go ahead and took out the ones that were more bush-like and put in other ones that we had as well, transplanted those into those places. And I'd say that they're doing well, other than being munched on continuously. So just the way that things work out. So the western garden plot, it's sad, but we'll get it to recover next year if all goes well. Just time is so, well, we're time poor right now, I guess is the way to look at it. You know, you only have so many hours in the day and all. And as we look over here right now, I've got to harvest the garlic if we're going to have any wraps. So we're already 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 wraps are gone on our garlic here. So this is a central garden, and you could maybe be able to see some of the spikes up from the scapes that I missed. So those ones won't be great. And we never had the irrigation in here, and the deer are in here all the time. So yeah, so some of these are so few wraps, this will be made into garlic powder. So I need to harvest the garlic. It's a shame that this is where we're at. Now the deer have been in here and they're just going right through the shallots like crazy. So they're already pulling them up. I watched them all morning this morning out here and all. So this is our central garden. And of course, because there's no wall there, I didn't bother putting up the rest of the fencing. It doesn't really matter if the deer can just get in here. So the trees are doing okay. We terminated this cover crop. It's not completely terminated, but I, still don't have all of our tools, our BCS tractor and the attachments that allow us to do the flail mowing, all the things that we do for managing our permanent raised beds and all. So those are 2 garden plots that could be a heck of a lot better, but we'll get these back set hopefully next year. If things go well, we can get this building up before winter, and then we can get these areas fenced in. I can spend some time working in the gardens, trying to get them back into shape and all. All right, let's go over to our eastern garden. Oh wait, before we do that, we'll go over to the herb garden over here. And I got to mow. You can see everything's growing up like crazy all over. So the lavender is getting ready to go to seed here. The thyme all in there. They put a few sunflowers over here. The deer love those. More oh, this oregano here. Lots of oregano. More thyme. The sage. More sage. Sage here. Sage going to seed. Thyme. And the lavender. Sorry about the wind, it's kicking up now. So we'll go over here and take a quick look inside of this eastern section. So only a few, Sophia had planted the scarlet red runner beans, which usually every year, this is a beautiful tunnel of beautiful scarlet flowers and the hummingbirds and all. And the hummingbirds are still back here trying to eat, and they're going after the bee balm up there. But unfortunately, we just aren't going to have the scarlet red runner beans this year. So somebody's been eating all of the beans as soon as Thea plants them each time. She's planted them twice, and I've got weeding to do. Thea harvested some of the blueberries yesterday. So this is a row of blueberries. Row of the red raspberries in here. These are heritage red raspberries. These 2 rows. Oh, we got a few Japanese beetles here. But we don't have too many pests here. Our bird population, our marginal zones that have all of the dragonflies, that really helps to keep the pests down, and certainly our wasps are great as well. Wow, lots of weeds in here. And these are the honeyberries. Oh geez, I can still see a few honeyberries down here. Yeah, a lot of neglect going on in here. I still got to repair this gate. This is when the snow snapped off both of the bolts for that gate. Again, so we have honeyberries, blueberries, heritage red raspberries, some bee balm here, and the blueberries here, and no more scarlet red runner beans this year. And we decided not to use this bed for our sweet potatoes. I just don't have the time this year. Strawberries were a massive success. That really worked out wonderfully. So we're real happy about the amount of strawberries that we got from the beds this year. Our butterfly milkweed. I just love this plant. Such a beautiful plant. And more strawberries. Then we get down. So Thea ended up putting our curly kale over here in the IBC totes. So this is enough to keep harvesting each day. These are some mandarin orange plants. A couple of hazelnuts have grown up in here as well. Here's our hazelnut bunches in here. These are our chestnuts in here. tomato plants. These are San Marzano tomatoes. Our sweet potatoes, so you put them over in here, in this area. Here we have, so these are some of the persimmons in here and the black locust. So they're all mixed together in here. One of the things, the seed of the black locust trees, they're such a protected seed that you can plant the seed pods, and that's one seed pod may send up shoots for the next 5 years. So it's pretty amazing. A couple more of the San Marzano tomatoes and some of the honeyberry plants over here. And these are doing really well, considering you know, we haven't been watering things and taking care of them like we typically would. But so far, so good. Dia's been doing what weeding she can do. It's enough just to take care of the nursery plants, you know, so that we don't lose ground for next year when we reopen up our you know, our businesses again. But because of the workshop collapse, we ended up closing down our eBay store. Oh, she's got something hooked up different here now. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. And I do plan on going out in the first food forest and doing some pruning as soon as I get done with this video. Here's one of our peach trees here. And the deer come in and browse off all the lower branches and pull down some, so I won't have to do too much thinning. The deer are taking care of this. I've got some pruning to do on this one. But we'll take a look up front at the front garden, which is also not protected from the deer and the wildlife. It's a regular little busy bee up here all the time. So here we are with the front garden up here. Let's go down here. So we got the irises that are still here. They bloomed, and their tops are starting to die back now. So we'll have to dig up some of those rhizomes and replant those. The hostas, fiddlehead ferns, and our cats running around underneath here. The Japanese maples. This is a nice cooling spot for all the different cats and other critters, because the raccoons sometimes are in here as well. One of the sedums, man, that sedum is really getting big. It's crowding out that Japanese maple there. And I probably should come in and grab the seed heads off of this columbine here as well. That Japanese maple is doing well. I need to put some protection up over these Japanese maples so that the snow load, it just gets so deep in here, so it doesn't do more damage like it did this year. You see the deer come in and love the hosta plants as well. Oh. You probably can't see it, but the dragonflies are going all the little peaks all around in here. And the dragonflies are absolute fantastic component to have for your gardens. So if you've got water bodies like we have here, all the canals, well, the canals and pond systems that we have with the marginal zones, you'll see the dragonflies come around and they'll get on these points. So you need high peaks for the dragonflies. And they consume so many flies, it's just amazing. Certainly our predatory wasps, they do a great job as well. I know a lot of people are afraid of the wasps, but we only remove them if they're in an area where they can, you know, pose harm to a human or dogs or and all. But for the most part, we welcome them here. Certainly the spiders as well. I know these things sound unpleasant to many people, but really they do a great job. And the snakes as well. Like over in our IBC totes, we got a great big garter snake over there. And you know, that guy is just living off all of the pests that are over there. So and certainly the toads in our gardens as well. So all these, you know, beautiful little creatures that enjoy the habitats, the hedgerows, the farmscaping, the marginal zones around the property, they all provide the homes for all these beneficial creatures, including insects, to help control the pests that we have. And the further I get away from these areas and I go into an area that we haven't worked on and that's been humanized over time, well, that's when we get the mosquitoes and the deer flies and so on and so forth, and all those pests. The only pests that I would say we don't have a control over is in the real early spring, before everybody migrates back or everybody's emerged and gotten to their appropriate life cycle stage, are the black flies, or punkies we call them. But yeah, just a side note. Well, anyways, that's it for today's video, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. If you got something out of it, please give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends. Stay safe and take care. Bye-bye now.